Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be taking on Heralds of Galactus, this side quest at the Herald difficulty, and we are going to be taking on that final boss again, Vision AARKUS. So we have the champs. It's an all cosmic challenge, so we're going to be bringing in only mystic champions for this fight. And the first fight up is going to be against Drax, and we are going to bring in some unusual players, some different players. Before we get into the quest, this is the Herald Mode, so in order to conserve and reduce the use of units if we need to, for those of you that need to, or potions or whatever, what we're going to do is we're just going to add some boost in here. And here's what we're going to look at. We're going to look at what the health is on of the team right now. And we're going to just show you guys how to add that boost for the newer members on the team. We're just going to click on that boost and we are going to get in some attack, 15%, and we are going to bring in some health and attack boost, 30%. Because we have quite a few of these boosts building up. I haven't been using it, so I says why not just use some boosts for this fight. It is the Herald. We normally do the epic for show and gameplay, but we're going to bring in mystic champions, and we're going to bring in Nick Fury just to add that added attack, 10% attack. The first fight is going to be against, like I said, Drax. We're going to take a look at the nodes. Whenever defenders nullify a buff, blah, blah, blah. It's not very difficult. Some of these fights, the main fight, the AARKUS fight, is going to be the difficult fight. But for the most part, we're going to bring in Jane Thor Jane Foster, sorry. And she's going to take on the first fight. And what you want to do with Thor Jane Foster is parry. You want to do a heavy to get that stagger going. You want to fire off the SP1 to get the shock. And then when you lay into the opponent, as you can see, he's on stun. You want to bait out his SP2. Again, shock, SP1 delivers a shock. And then every hit, you can do the heavy and then lay waste to the opponent, because every other hit is going to most likely stun him when he's in shock. You're going to back off, and as you can see, we just rinse and repeat. The stun stays in effect. You want to back off on the SP2. Don't push him to SP3. Bait it out. We're just going to bait it out. Don't push him to the SP3. One more hit and he's over. So we just want to dex, bait him out, and then we could start firing off that SP1 again. And every other hit is going to stun him, and that's what it's all about. So for those of you that have Jane Foster, let me tell you, she is amazing as a champion that can easily stun over and over again, chain stun, and she really does a lot of damage. Now, we have Hela, again, mystic champions, and we're just going to bring in again, let's push it now, we're going to bring in Thor Jane Foster again, because she has a stagger, and if we stagger Hela at the end, she is not going to be indestructible. So let's see if we could actually pull this off in this fight. Again, we're going to build to that SP1, we're going to stagger her, and then we are going to just fire off the SP1 to get the shock going, and then our medium and light hits should stun her at some point. She has a little bit more resistance to stuff like this, Hela, but again, it is going to happen. Here you go with the stun, and as you can see, we stagger her again. I want to keep that stagger on her so that she doesn't go into that indestructible mode at the end. We're going to fire up the stun again, the shock, sorry, SP1, and we're going to try to find some shots and get that stun going. Here you go, we got one stun in. We're not chaining it, but that shock damage over time is doing quite a lot of damage. And here we go. Lights out. There was no indestructible at the end, and we took her out absolutely no problems at all. So that's Jane. So Thor, Jane Foster, taking out the first two champs in this matchup with relative ease. Should we push it? Why not? Let's just go. Venom, same effect. We're going to just build to that SP1. If we could parry and do a stagger, we will do it. Here you go. And we're going to fire off the SP1 to shock, do some damage over time. And if we get in a hit while that shock is going, we should get a, here you go, stun, stun, stun. And as you can see, it's quite a beating he's going to take. We're going to fire off the SP1. You know, once we're under 18%, Venom is going to be unblockable. So we want to do as much damage before we give up this fight, if we have to. And there you go. As soon as you mess it up, and that was my mistake, I should have dexed or backed off or give him some room. Anyway, Jane Foster, very, very good champion overall. Next champion that we haven't been using for a while, and most of us seem to have forgotten her, is Magic. She's an absolute beast at power control and power lock. We fired off the SP1 to nullify, and then I remembered, hold on, the nullify, anytime you nullify a buff on these champions, and these Mystic champions, I think the Universal Node said that they gain a Fury, and that's what he has, all these Furies going here now. So we're going to get the SP2 and power lock him. And not only power lock him, we just took him out of the gameplay. That was an instant knockout. And then we're going to showcase again. Let's use Magic again to show that power locking ability. Again, we could use Nick Fury and kill him off, and then we get double the attack. But that's fair is fair. Power locked for 4 seconds. Anytime whenever one of your defenders buffs are nullified, you get a power lock for 4 seconds, and that's what happened to Magic in that last matchup. So we don't want to use that SP1 to nullify buffs because that is going to put us on a power lock. We don't want to power lock ourselves, so we're not going to be doing nullifies. Which is why I did not bring in Doctor Strange into this, because he automatically nullifies a lot of buffs, and if you do that, you keep power locking yourself, which I think is sometimes unfair. Cosmic champions, you should have the advantage, and that's why you have Mystic champions to do the power locking and stuff like that, and dealing with buffs. To take away the buffs is ridiculous. And we shouldn't have a matchup where the Cosmic Champions get to take away the Mystics buffs. Anyway, we're going to build to SP2. She's going to take all our damage and regen because we're taking it when we're in limbo. And here we go. We right back up. And then we fired off the SP2. We power locked him. We SP1'd him. And then we are just going straight into it to finish him off. And that is the beauty of Magic. She can take a lot of hits, but you have to be taking the hits while she's in limbo, because all damage taken in limbo, she regenerates full health for the amount of damage she took. So let's see. We have Hyperion. We're going to bring Magic in again because we want to power lock Hyperion to under 2 bars of power. We don't want to push him to SP3. We could easily dex his 1 and 2. But I'm going to beat him down until hopefully we have enough to survive the first SP1, SP3. This is pushing it really close. But we are going to take this hit. And we are hopefully now going to power lock him. That was all in limbo, that couple seconds of hits. So we regenerated 10% of the health. Boom. We have him locked right now. We're going to fire it off again. Now we have him fully power locked here. We're going to try to get to that SP2 again to keep him power locked. And here we go. Fire it off again. He's nicely power locked now. Again, his power gain is ineffective against magic. And we gotta back off, almost messed up there. Fire off that power lock. We are only at 3%. So if we mess up, we mess up, and we did mess up. And I know it was coming. But again, you gotta stay cool because we still have 3 champions to showcase in this fight, this quest, this side quest. We have Mephisto. We're gonna finish off Hyperion, and I like cleaning up with Mephisto if you looked at my other videos, because he's a 3 persistency charge, and when he knocks out a champion, he's gonna get 1 more. So in our next fight, when we bring Mephisto in, he's gonna have 4 persistent charges. That gives me extra chance to fire off an SP1 and still have 3 persistency charges to deal with for full health rejuvenation. And here is what we've been waiting for. Vision AARKUS, he has gets richer. Whichever champion has a unique buff, 12% bar of power, crumbling armor. If you haven't landed a hit within 6 seconds, you get an armor break. And again, if an armor break is active on the attacker, when they trigger an armor buff, you get an additional buff of, so all of that stuff is normal stuff for this guy. Crumbling armor, that weird nodes that they put onto him. We're just gonna bring in, first of all, Nick Fury maybe and kill him off, or let's bring in Dr. Voodoo himself, and let's just test it. Dr. Voodoo has regen at the start of the fight and great block. We're gonna try to fire off an SP1 and see if that is going to work. But as you can see, Vision we got the Venom, the Spirit Venom on him, but he's gonna fire off that SP3 because I forgot about that power generation that he has. He just builds that power, and it's gonna be hard. So power control champion would be great for him. If I got Voodoo to SP2, we could have probably drained some of his power. But that's okay. We're going to have Nick Fury try to bleed this guy down as much as possible before we bring in the other champs into the gameplay, which would be Mephisto. And here you go. So he does take quite a lot of bleed. Not as much damage I thought that he would be taking. But again, everything pushes this guy to SP3, which is an instant problem for this gameplay. And I'm going to try to fire off an SP2 and stun him and get some damage in. He did not, and he was not affected by the SP2 to take stun. And I'm going to pay the price for that now. He's going to fire off his SP3, which he did. And he is going to, here you go. But of course, that was the decoy. We have the real Nick Fury now. And this guy is very aggressive. I'm going to try to get to the SP2 and fire it off. But here you go. Boom. Just in time. But again, we weren't able to deal with the damage over time effect he had on us. Some type of degeneration, I believe it is, he has. We're going to soul imprisonment him here now. We have 4 persistency charges, so we could fire off an SP1 and keep that soul imprisonment going. That's what we're going to fire off here. So he's taking some incinerator damage and he's melting away a bit. Not as fast as I want him to. But we do have 3 more persistency charges. We're going to fire off 1 more. Get more damage going. We blocked that SP from him. Okay, so we have the regen on Mephisto already taken place. We're going to fire off as much SP1s as possible. And we're going to fire it off again. We got him down to 22% damage over time, but did not time it right. We got him to SP3. And that is what we're going to pay the price for. I could have pushed Mephisto to SP3, fire off the SP3, and power drained him 2 bars of power. But in the heat of the moment, no one's always thinking right. But in hindsight, that is what I should have done. But we're just going to revive these champs, and instead of using 40% for revives, I'm just going to use the team revive, and this way we have enough with 5 champions to actually demo. And this is what the video is all about, really. It's about demoing a variety of champions to show what can be done with any one of these champs. Any one of these champs at this point could take this guy down. We're going to bring in magic and see if we could power lock him. If we get to that SP2, he has armor break, which is just ridiculous, and that we couldn't get to the SP2. We're going to use Nick Fury to bleed him out again, and when we kill off Nick Fury, at least we're going to have a double attack, 10% extra attack. Now we could lay back with this, but he does have that degeneration on us. And then we're going to bring in Thor, Jane Foster to stagger this guy. It's 4%. We're definitely going to take him off now. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I appreciate every subscriber. Please subscribe, hit the notification bell so you get follow-up emails and notified when we have new content on the channel. Hope you guys enjoy the gameplay. Please feel free to leave comments, questions. I try to answer everyone when they comment. And I hope you guys enjoy the gameplay. Work less, play more, enjoy life. Catch you guys next time. Bye-bye.